If I sign it, I don't want the state to send it out to review it.
You need to speak up and hear about you. It's time, guys. We got to
That's all. That's all.
Good morning. Let's call the meeting to order, please. Today is Tuesday. It's March 23rd. We're here for our regular monthly meeting. We're going to stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Mayor Cathy?
Here.
Mr. Pollock?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mrs. Call?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Here. Thank you. Next on our agenda is our our citizens' comments. Are there anyone here? There's an agenda item. Please hold your comments. Okay. Before we get to the audit, I want to recognize the Honorable Sheriff. Tommy Ford is here to see us this morning, or to speak to us and give us some. I guess, Marty, you lost your job today. Sheriff, we're welcome to Mexico Beach, and if you want to, just from where you're standing or step forward, whatever. And
well, good morning.
Appreciate you being here.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to take a minute to come down and say hey and tell you how much we appreciate the ability to serve the citizens of Mexico Beach and the trust that y'all put in us to do that, to provide public safety down here. We're just over a year into the contract, and I will say from my perspective, I've been very pleased with the services that we've been able to provide, the feedback that we've received from the citizens, and the great job that our crew's done down here. I've got Captain Mike Branning is the commander of our East District, which encompasses Mexico Beach, and I've got Lieutenant Marty Williams, who y'all should all know well, here today. And they're going to speak to you in just a minute. We'll keep it brief because I know y'all are busy today. But it is a pleasure to serve down here, and from my perspective, things are going well. We were able to come in with the full staffing per the contract. We were also able to upgrade equipment and get our vehicles in shape down here, as well as some additional equipment to provide public safety services. We were able to acquire a side-by-side and tractor trailers that'll help, as things get busier this summer, which I anticipate to be able to get messages out to the citizens. We also want to be good partners with y'all. We consider ourselves a partner with the commission and the city in providing services to the residents. So when you have events, we want to be a part of that. I know we've been part of the golf cart parade, and I know we're gonna try to live up to your standards of cooking here on July 4th.
I'm sure you will.
But, you know, when we started this, we talked about eventually the goal being to go to 2 officers per shift. Right now, we've got 6 deputies, which include Lieutenant Williams, to provide services down here. And at this point, we feel like that's going pretty well. At the point that y'all want to talk about us increasing that, we can. But I think with the number of full-time residents here, I feel like we're in pretty good shape, and I don't intend today to ask that we increase that. But that is the ultimate goal, I think, that provides the best safety for both the citizens and our deputies, having another officer able to back them up if something happens. So that's, as we discussed when we started this contract, that's our goal, but I don't intend to ask for that for this upcoming year unless that's something y'all want to talk about. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have of us, and then I'll turn it over to the captain and lieutenant.
No question, but I have been told by many citizens how pleased they are with the sheriff department here. And I want to.
Outstanding, thank you. Okay. We just want to kind of give you an overview of our calls for service, criminal activity this year, maybe a highlight on a couple of cases that we worked.
That's just some numbers for the year, for the last 12 months. We wanted to go over briefly. The calls for service for Mexico Beach was, for the last 12 months, was 1,684. We conducted 392 traffic stops, investigated 23 traffic accidents, suspicious person vehicle calls, 112. Field interviews are something that's very important. To explain that, if we get a call that a person's a little suspicious and we get out with them in the middle of the night, we generally fill out the information on them. We get their name and where they're from and that kind of information in case next morning we have some burglaries or something we need to follow up on. Or if the deputy is patrolling the neighborhood and he sees someone suspicious, he gets out with them. A lot of times he'll complete what's called a field interview card. And that becomes very important when we start looking at criminal activity in certain areas. We can go back, maybe 2 weeks from now, we can go back and say, well, we got out with this person on this date. And those people that may not be up to good, they're not out jogging or walking or walking their dog, they're out looking for something to steal. It makes them think, well, you know, they're on to me. We better not, I better not do anything tonight. So that helps deter a lot of stuff as well. We had 65 arrests. And one of the things we've been doing, and one of the things we wanted to make sure we did when we assumed this contract, is that we never leave Mexico Beach uncovered. So we've got it worked out with the shift that's working the rest of the county, as well as the Mexico Beach deputy, that anytime there's an arrest, that deputy on the east side of the county will meet that Mexico Beach deputy and transport that person to the jail. Or if it's like a DUI and that deputy needs to go, the deputy from Mexico Beach needs to go to the jail, the east side deputy will actually cover down here for the period that he's gone. So that way the citizens are never without coverage down here. That was something that's very important to us. We also continue to monitor the influx of people coming in during the summer, and working with Lieutenant Williams, he's added on the weekends some additional personnel beachside to help cover any issues that are down there. We've been having an extra person work during the day on Saturday and Sunday. So we continue to monitor that to see if we need to adjust it or make any changes in that as well. So, but like the sheriff said, we've been really pleased with what we've seen for the last year. And some people may have thought, well, we're losing our police department. And I've run Callaway since 2004, I believe it was, and the people over there, I could see the difference, and they really feel like they have their own police department. Now, New Mexico Beach would too once we'd been down here for a while. And just to show that, the deputies, we handpicked the deputies that came to Mexico Beach, and every one of those deputies are still down here. And it's been over a year now, and the same deputies that started at Mexico Beach are still coming to work every day. So we take pride in that, and them working the same areas, because they get to know the people. They know who belongs here, who doesn't belong here, who it's easy for them to detect potential problems, somebody that's up to no good, and they know the citizens that may need some help and have issues and might need to go by and check on them and that kind of stuff. So we've been really pleased with how things have turned out for the last year. So with that, unless y'all have any questions, Lieutenant Williams was going to talk about some of the cases, a few of the cases that we've worked in the last year down here.
But some of you know some of these cases and everything, but since we started, I think one of the first ones that we had as a major case was the one that ended up in Mr. Jerry Smith's yard, trying to steal his golf carts in the morning. So it started off as a traffic stop that went into Gulf County, came back to Bay County, and they dumped the vehicle, and then they stole another truck, and it was recovered, I think, that day or the next day in Port St. Joe. And most everybody that was involved in that was arrested also. Next one, came up was some trailer thefts with some of the construction guys and stuff. Took a trailer from one spot to another job location, found a better looking trailer, dropped that one off there, took that trailer, and took it to St. Joe also. So it was, it's locals most of the time, and they're taking stuff to different places, but we're going to stay diligent with it and go on and keep it in line. And another one we had was actually Deputy Mark Beverly. He's a patrolman around here. He's been here. He's one of yours. He's one of ours. And riding around doing his little thing, and here's an alarm going off at a house, and calls the people up, gets the number, gets the code for the house, goes in. They left a pot on the stove when they left. Otherwise, it'd been a burnt house. But that's the kind of stuff that we do. That's patrolling we do. We try to get in the neighborhoods. We try to do everything we can and stay there and stay visible and everything to try to deter anything that's coming around.
I think that's all we have, unless y'all have any questions of us.
I got one with Tom.
Yeah, go ahead.
That big man on the side.
Can't get started.
I'm gonna tell you now, he's good for us. Everybody that you have goes beyond the Call of Duty.
Yep.
And like he said, Mark got to come to my house, and when I'm gone, which I'm fit to leave, I feel secure that somebody will be protecting my house, and it's a good feeling. Plus, we have old folks. If you look around here, there's like Bobby.
You mean on the committee?
Both. Anyway, they find out them people sick or they need a little help. Your men help these people, and that really goes a long way. And I want to tell you, thank you. Marty knows how I feel about it, and all the men we got, I know them all on a first name basis. And I want to tell you, we got to thank you. You got a good crew, good leadership. I hadn't met this man yet.
Yeah.
You need to come back.
I do. I think Marty was going to cook here before long, so
Here we are.
Get down
You gotta
there.
come down. I appreciate you.
See me first, Mike. I'll tell you where to go and
All
not.
right, we'll do that, Mayor.
I didn't meet him, but I did meet the man, the Smith fellow from the just got lieutenant. What's that really? Yeah, but
Yeah, he came up here when we first
yeah, he
started.
did come over here. But I want to tell you thanks. I know I took a lot of your
Yes,
time,
sir.
but I really appreciate you doing a wonderful job. I mean, I know.
We certainly do appreciate it, and my only comment is more for the record than anything. That was a tough decision that this city went through in trying to switch. And I understood the heartbeat of the community for those that felt like that we had our own, keep our own. But you've proven your worth and your value by the quality of service that we get, and for that we're grateful.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for coming over.
Thank you.
Okay, audit presentation. Wayne, you're up.
All right, thank you, and thank you all for having us here this morning. My name is Wayne Duran. I'm here to present the much anticipated September 30, 2019 financial statement audit. I'm joined here with a couple of my colleagues, Zach Schalenfer and James Clark. We do have a little PowerPoint presentation today. I don't know if anyone's able to control it. If not, I can just go through it. The slides I do have, I know you all have a copy of it in front of you. All right, so first and foremost, I want to thank everyone who's involved in the audit. I know it's one thing to go through an audit, but after you guys have been devastated by a hurricane and then we have COVID, and it's a lot of work to get this done. And everyone on the Mexico Beach team has been more than helpful, and it was a lot of work with everyone. So thank you very much. So jumping right into the results of the audit. Up first, we talk about our 5 different reports that we are issuing. Right at the top, our independent auditor's report. That is essentially our report on the numbers. You will see that we do have one qualification here in which the city has determined not to implement the accounting standard GASB 75, which relates to future health insurance costs for retirees. Really the big picture here, in order to determine what that number would be, the city would have to hire an actuary, and they would have to calculate this theoretical liability, which would ultimately end up being an additional cost to the city. So the city has determined it is not worth the additional cost to implement this accounting standard. Ultimately, there is that one qualification which essentially says that these numbers that are included in this financial audit are presented fairly in all material respects except for that one exclusion. Also, we've noted that this is a pretty common qualification we see with a lot of municipalities and local governments just like yourselves, and there's been no real negative consequence of taking that qualification. So our second report is a single audit report. Since the city did meet the threshold for having a certain dollar figure of federal and state grant expenditures, we are required to do a mini compliance audit. As we show up here, the 2 programs that we did test are related to FEMA and Department of Transportation grant. If we did note any material compliance errors or anything like that, we would be required to report those here. So we had no such findings here. So the next report is our report on internal control and compliance. So the primary objective of our audit is to issue an opinion on the financial statements themselves. However, we are required to look at the city's internal controls over financial reporting. If we do note anything, we are required to report that here. So we did have 3 items that we would consider to be a material weakness, and they are included in the audit report as pages 53 and 54, but just to summarize the 3 comments that we did out here. So comment number 2019-001, segregation of duties. In an ideal control environment, you would have what's called proper segregation of duties, where you would have multiple sets of hands and eyes on various different parts of the accounting transactions. Due to a couple different things, primarily related to turnover and a limited size of the accounting staff here, certain times during the year, segregation of duties were not properly followed, so we were required to report that here. So 2019-002, reconciliation of account balances and audit adjustments. So in an ideal situation, we would be able to take the city's numbers directly out of the accounting system and use that to prepare the document that's in front of you today. However, we were required to make some accounting adjustments, primarily due to the complexity of all the FEMA stuff going on. And since we were required to make these audit adjustments, we are required to include that comment. So 2019-003, timeliness of bank reconciliations. That one pretty straightforward is the way it's described in the comment. Ultimately, we recommend that bank reconciliations are performed within 30 days after month end. There were certain times during the year, primarily due to a lot of turnover at the accounting position, where those weren't being completed timely. So our 4th report here, the management letter, which is required by the Florida Auditor General, requires us to look at a few different things. One of the things that it requires us to look at is the city's financial condition. So as you guys can imagine, with all the things that happened with FEMA, there were certain trends and comparisons to benchmarks that were made. They've produced indications of a deteriorating financial condition. Also, you'll see in that comment, it also states financial emergency. So the state of Florida has put out certain criteria in which the city has mandated or considered to be a financial emergency. The biggest one the city has met underneath that set of criteria is the payment of bills greater than 90 days. So most of that relates to FEMA-related transactions in which the city is waiting for reimbursement in order to pay its vendors. However, the way the Florida statute's written, it's very cut and dry. If it's over 90 days being paid, then it's required to be reported as a emergency condition. So the fifth report we issue here is our independent accountant's examination report. So as part of our audit, we're required to look at the city's compliance with investment policies and investments related to Florida statutes. We had no comments or compliance issues noted there. Oh, I did want to point out, I also skipped over this on accident under the management letter section. We did have 3 other comments that fall under more of the recommendation versus internal control issue or anything like that. These fall more underneath the recommendation. The 3 recommendations we did have under budgetary control, that is comment number 005, since the disaster recovery fund is being presented as a separate fund within the financial statements, we recommend the city adopt a formal budget similar to the general fund for its disaster recovery fund. Another recommendation we have, 006, utility deposits. We noted the city does not have a policy with obtaining a security deposit from utility customers, which is something that we see is common in practice with other municipalities. So we recommend the city consider implementing a utility deposit policy. So the last recommendation we have is 007. It's called building permit expenditures. So in the last few years, the Florida statutes have, there's been new Florida statutes that have come out that really put an emphasis on building permit expenditures and the tracking of those expenditures, because ideally those expenditures would only be, or the revenue that's obtained from building permits would only be used to enforce building permits. So we recommend the city implement new accounting practices that are going to help them track these building permit expenses a little more closely. So next slide, please. All right, so let's jump into the numbers a little bit. Before we get too far into this, I do want to say, just remind everyone, this is as of September 30, 2019, so a lot of things have changed since then. And then here we're looking at only the general fund. So you see we've done a little bit of trend analysis here. We've got 2019 versus 2018 and then 2017 before that. Here we've got your year-end fund balances broken out into the different buckets. Non-spendable, those are items such as inventory and prepaids. Those amounts have already been spent, so they cannot be spent again, so therefore they're considered non-spendable. Restricted, those are amounts that are restricted by some outside source, such as Florida statutes, things like that, some external party in which those monies cannot be spent other than their intended purposes. So committed fund balance, that represents items that have been committed by formal action of the council. Assigned fund balances, those are things that have been earmarked particularly by management for a particular purpose. And unassigned fund balance is really your no strings attached. Those are essentially your residual fund balance once you take out all those other elements. Next slide, please. So here we're looking at a little bit of analysis of the health of the general fund. One other thing I want to point out here when we're talking about the general fund, this general fund excludes most of the activity related to the disaster recovery fund. So we're looking at this as in a vacuum general fund, but it's also important to consider what we're going to go over on the next few slides. So looking at the general fund, and when you're looking at an evaluation of the health of the general fund, one of the things that we like to do is you take the assigned and unassigned fund balance, which as you can see here is just over $4 million, and compare that to as a percentage to what the annual expenditures are. So annual expenditures in the general fund were about $2.7 million, and as a percentage, the fund balance is about 143% of what expenditures were, which that gives you, rough estimate about a year and a half of reserves in the general fund. Down here at the bottom, we've got a GFOA minimum recommendation of 2 months. Oftentimes 3 months of reserves is recommended in the general fund for coastal communities. However, Remember, just keep in mind, we are talking about general fund only and not disaster recovery. Next slide, please. All right, so this slide represents some of the activity within the disaster recovery fund. Once again, this is as of September 30, 2019, so there's been substantial activity that's happened after that. So I just want to remind everyone of that once again. So here, this shows a lot of the ins and outs of what went on in the disaster recovery fund for the year. Total revenues, $45 million, includes FEMA and other revenues. Expenditures, just over $60 million. And then down at the bottom, there's additional revenues of $4 million insurance proceeds. At the end of the day, as of September 30, 2019, the ending fund balance in the disaster recovery is a deficit $10 million. So I also just want to point out, like we've already discussed, this is as of September 30, 2019. There has been a lot of things that have gone on after year end in which management's worked really hard with FEMA and trying to recover additional funds. So this is as of a point in time, and there's definitely been things that have happened after year end. So really what this is giving you, this is as of September 30, 2019. And then when you're evaluating how the city is recovering from the disaster, you're going to have to look at what's going on as of September 30, 2020, and then those years after. Ideally, as the city is able to collect more and more money from FEMA, hopefully that disaster recovery fund balance is going to get closer and closer to zero. Ultimately, the city is probably going to have to contribute some amount from its general fund to cover any deficit. However, hopefully that number will be as small as possible. Next slide, please. So business type funds, what we've done here is we've put together a trend analysis similar to what we've done on the general fund. So when you're evaluating the health of the business type funds, we like to look at where you're at as far as trend. Obviously, the year 2019, which is right after the hurricane, revenues took a big hit on the business type funds, which is your water, sewer, sanitation funds. So you had a big decrease in revenues while your expenses did increase with repairs and maintenance and things like that were required to get the utility funds back up and running. So once again, this September 30, 2019 gives you a good baseline. Hopefully the damage has been done at this point, and you're going to see, hopefully you're going to see recovery over the next couple of years with revenues returning to what the former levels were, while those expenditures staying a little bit lower. Next slide, please. Back up one, please. Thank you. So governmental activities, this really just gives you a big picture of if you were to combine that general fund and the disaster recovery fund we talked about earlier into one. Once again, do a little bit of a trend analysis here. We're showing the differences between 17, 18, and then 19. If you look at that unrestricted number of the net position, you'll see just under $7 million deficit, which is really the combination of that positive fund balance that we had in the general fund and that deficit $10 million we had in the disaster recovery fund. Once again, this 2019 number is going to give you a good baseline, and then you can evaluate going forward once you're looking at 9/30/20, 21. Hopefully you'll see that unrestricted number come back to zero, and then ultimately, ideally, back into the positive. So the next slide I have is just for questions, so I'll go ahead and open it up to any questions you guys have.
Any questions? Okay, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
More for those that may be hearing this on television, and for those that hear this, is, at least in the last 20 years, our city has never experienced an audit that lags behind at the level that we've had since Hurricane Michael. And it's important to note that this is a snapshot in time almost 2 years ago. So that is extremely important. We are all making strides in improving not only the numbers but the process by which we're reporting things. So Hopefully, as we soon to start our next audit, which is still a year out, we'll see better numbers. Okay, moving on. Is that our financial report?
Yes, sir. Are you going to citizens' comments?
We had citizens comments.
Okay,
We already had citizens comments.
gotcha.
Oh, consent, I got that file, but there are no consent items.
Okay.
Well,
On financial, I'll ask Debbie if there's anything that she wants to update us on. I would like to thank the team because there was quite a bit of work all the way from Keith to Monique to Lindsay to Mary to Tammy that have provided a ton of information to the audit group, including making the adjustments that were necessary from the time frame that many of those people were physically not here. So, the work that it took to hunt those documents down and to get them in the right place so that they would be in the proper accounting location was a ton of work. So I wanted to thank all the team that did all that work.
Okay. So are we ready to move on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sandy?
Sadie's not here today. I'm the firefighter Sean McGann, standing in for him.
Hang on just a second.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
As I hope to see you in 6 months, all is well.
There you go. Okay, move on.
All right. The few things that he wanted me to bring up to you guys is that we've completed our yearly hose testing. No major issues. It went about as good as it could go. The life rings that were ordered for the canal and boat ramp, they've been ordered and they should be installed within the next week or two. Let's see. We started the daytime beach patrols just because of the number of people on the beaches. And that's to coincide with the Sheriff's Department's beach patrol also. We are doing pump testing today on our 2 engines. We're sending them out over to Gulf County to a department over there that's getting them done. And all the key boxes that have been ordered have already been installed by the residences. And if anybody would like a key box on their home, to go ahead and contact the fire department. And that's all he wanted me to convey to you guys. Any questions? Yes, sir.
On the hoses, did you have any that you were going to scrap? Because we had talked about if there was any older ones, there was interest in putting those on the docks.
We did have 2 hoses. They're just the 1 3/4 hoses, the really small ones that failed.
Is that the regular canvas or is that a plastic?
It's the canvas, but it's just the 1 3/4 hose, so it's not a whole lot. I mean, more than likely we're going to condemn those 2 hoses. I don't know what Chief Walker has, what he plans on doing with them yet, but those 2 hoses did fail.
1 3/4, so that's 2 3.5 inches of stuff once you cut it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so we would have 2 of those that we can't use anymore, and I'm pretty sure
How long are
that.
those?
Excuse me?
How long?
Each one of our attack hoses are 50 feet.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Please note the marine is going to be replaced and overhauled with the contract that's underway. So if you do something now, it's going to get reworked.
Are they just going to do bumpers in, so that question was in there?
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, moving to building department.
We've got 3 new single-family homes since last meeting permitted, and a handful of pole barns. That's about it. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Okay. Any comment? Okay, thank you, Jim. Code?
We have a mobile home that's
been demoed. They're over there clearing up the lot now. It's at 406 Maryland. It was previously belonged to the Snellgroves, and their daughter took it over, and she's cleaning everything up over there. It's looking pretty good. And we had a few RVs that had left, and I found out this morning we had an RV that came back. So we'll be taking care of that.
I'll ask, because I was asked, the 4th Street, and we've discussed it, the 4th Street homestead that looks something out of, well, I've had 2 requests. One on 4th Street and one on 1st Street where the trailer's out by the road. The guy's been living there in front of his house on 1st Street.
Yes, sir.
Are we doing, have we, where are we with those 2? Or are we anywhere?
No, they're being, that's on my list for today to go and visit. And
Both of those?
yes.
Yeah. Have we made any progress with who's going to be our special sergeant?
The special master for hearings. There is a small update. The folks that we viewed as the most ideal, one of them's declined, and the others have yet to provide any real proposal. So we're a little bit stalled out. I discussed this with Mario right before the meeting. I'm going to do I'm going to circulate an advertisement for the opening among the attorneys, and Bay County are easy to access from hopefully get Gulf County as well, and just cast a broader net and see what kind of response we get, because I would really hope to have gotten responses from a handful of folks that I thought were really well suited, but I have a doubt that it's going to work out.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Thank you, Kathy. Public Works. Oh, hang on. Rock, what you got?
I just wanted to know how much money or any money has been fined to the person who owns the old trailer at the end of my block, the Welcome Center? What's going on with that? I mean, is he being fined? The thing is disintegrating. The other day when it got windy, a piece of metal blew right off the side and was laying in the road. I dragged it back out of the street.
I
That's
can't
the one
answer
with the special master with Jim Bush.
And
That's
I believe that's $1,200 at this point.
That's for both of them, Tammy, just one, I mean Tammy.
Each one has $1,200.
But he has 2.
And just have a community day go right there.
That's what I wish, because we wouldn't get in trouble. I've got the men and the money to go to it.
All right, Rock, that's all that you,
Okay, Rock one of them.
We'll get it.
Tommy, go ahead.
Good morning, Mayor, Council. Quick update on Public Works. We're still grinding stumps. I imagine most of y'all seen that throughout town. Just to give you an update since the last meeting, we've got another 150. That brings us up to over 700 stumps that's been ground throughout the city of Mexico Beach by one crew of 2 people. We cut another total of about 50 dead trees. We cut another 5 since the last meeting, so we are getting those trees down and the stumps ground up. Also, the dredge crew continues to dredge. Had a lot of comments on the text message system that we set up. It seems to be working real well. Had a lot of people wanting to get on that system. Had some today. If you'll just give me a call, the Public Works phone at 527-3087, I'll be glad to add y'all to the list. That way we keep you updated when the canal does start to sand over. The condition of it, if one boat can get out, 2 boats, but we've got it open back up 100% right now, and they are dredging on the west side. So hopefully the weather holds out, we're going to get that west side opened up in another month, and trying to work on that before turtle season. Also, we've put some more garbage cans down at Canal Parkway. We've added 6 more cans. The Canal Parkway project is proceeding along. They've got the bulkhead poured from the canal to the existing one, from the bridge to the existing one. They're working on that, so hopefully we'll get our, they're actually on the electrical part of it now, replacing the power pedestals and pulling wire for that, so hopefully for long we're going to have all that done and get our slips open back up, well out. The FDOT, I mentioned in the last meeting, I met with FDOT on the sidewalks. Martin called me this past week, and they are getting ready to start on those, so we're gonna see some action on the rest of the sidewalks here pretty soon. Pretty much everything, I gave you a handout, I'm not gonna go over every single thing on here, but we're just back to cutting grass and doing the normal stuff. Any questions?
Tommy, one of the guys talked to you about garbage truck?
Yes.
What did you find out? I mean, that's all over the neighborhood. Every place they stop.
Troy said it's the seal on the back of it, and we're gonna have to replace the seal on it. And I told the guys to make sure before they leave out in the morning also that they drain those, the bed, the hopper part, the round part on the bottom before they leave out of here. That way we're not spilling liquid throughout the city that smells, and make sure those are cleaned out a little bit better. But yeah, we are addressing that rock. I have. Yeah.
Is that going to stop the glass and the nails and everything coming out? I mean, that
yeah, and we're going to have to do it. I told them they're going to have to do a little better job on Wednesdays. That's the day that we don't run. We pick up trash Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. On that Wednesday, we're going to do a little better job cleaning those trucks out and making sure that stuff's not in them. Of course, as they start picking up throughout the city, there's no telling what's going to be in the trash. But hopefully, no building materials. But we are going to address that. If we have to change that seal out, we'll do that.
Okay, thanks, Tommy.
Yes, sir.
Did you get the mattress out of the dumpster?
Who's doing the sidewalk in front of the club? I see that's all laid out, packed down.
We're out there.
The club.
We're FDOT's going to do that. They're going to come in and take care of that. Yeah, I talked to the owners of the club because if they wanted to put the pavement back, that was up to them. Or if they wanted to do something fancy, they're broke and didn't have the money, so FDOT's going to come in and
put that down.
Yeah.
That was on the 14th. Yeah.
I just see that you got it laid out.
But the weekend, like last weekend, when we did have quite a few people here, people be walking down the sidewalks and
get out on the shoulder.
They had to get out there, the dogs and children. When we get ready, we're gonna get. I mean, I know
they kind of put it on the fast pace, and they're instead of going through a contract and all that, they're going to go ahead and get on. I told Martin we needed it ASAP, especially with summer coming on. So I think you're going to see some movement here pretty soon with them coming on and taking care of that.
Good. Thank you. All right, Kevin, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Things are going well. Water and sewer. We have an inspection coming up on our 1 million gallon tank. They should be here Thursday this week. Doing an outside inspection, top and bottom, make sure nothing's going on with the tank. Putting in new installations for homes, irrigations, about normal business. I think there's something we're missing. Everything's running well. And we did put 2 new pumps in Rustic Fan's grinder pump station due to old age. They're about 6 years old. They both died on us, so we had to have some pumps in the yard, so that worked out great. It's back up and running. We had it on bypass, and we got rid of that last week. So, and we're working toward getting these other 2 bypass pumps going as well. We should have power hopefully this week on canal. I was told, so hopefully that will come true. We get 2 pumps in there. You have to call a pump truck out. I want that station down. And we're working on 36th Street. I got the conduit bought, and we can get it installed and we can get rid of that bypass.
Okay. Questions for you, the utility department? Thank you, Kevin. David, what you got?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
The 3 projects we have ongoing: Sunset Park, the boat ramp, and 15th Street box culvert repair. We're still basically in the design and permitting phase, trying to get through the process.
Not used to something that short going. Is that it?
What about paperwork?
Yeah.
Usually we get 2
I'm
pages.
trying to be sustainable, so yeah,
Okay.
cut it down.
Thank you. When is the contractor starting on the highway?
April 1st.
April 1st. Good. All right, and say that one more time, what you're working on? I'm drawing a blank here.
Sunset Park. Sunset Park.
Sunset Park.
The boat ramp expansion and then the 15th
Boat
Street.
ramp extension. And that project includes where we are going to design, where we're gonna add a third slip.
We're gonna
I mean, a
we're
third,
gonna double the space. Yes.
We're gonna go from 3 to 6. So we'll double the number of slips.
Right. Well, how are we, this is, I guess I can, being we're talking about boat ramp, I'll ask, because I get asked, when do we foresee people being able to rent a slip down the road?
I will have to check with the contractor on his status on the marina slips, because that work has continued to progress. We've been held up on the pavilion because of CCCL line permits and DEP permits, but on that work, I'll give you a report on the next meeting.
Okay, could you have that for us, just because that's, the sun's shining, water's calm, everybody's asking, we don't care about anything, we can't get your boat out. So if we could just, I'm not holding you, just a generic 2 months or whatever we think it is. Atkins was here last month, so we're good with that. Okay. All right, moving to our regular agenda items. Number 1 is the second reading of ordinance 759. Do I have a motion to read by title only?
Make a motion to read ordinance 759 by title only.
Have a motion and a second. Any opposition to reading? Pam, would you read, please?
Ordinance 759, an ordinance rezoning from high-density residential to townhome district that certain parcel of land lying within the city of Mexico Beach, Florida, containing approximately 0.061 acres, located at 107 South 35th Street, with parcel ID number 04618-010000, all is more particularly described in the body of the ordinance, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict, and providing that this ordinance shall take effect immediately upon its passage.
Okay. Thank you. Is there a motion for adoption?
Make a motion we adopt ordinance 759.
Mayor, before you vote, make sure there weren't any citizen comments at the public hearing on this matter.
Any comments on ordinance 759? Anyone here to speak pertaining to ordinance 759? Let the record show there was nothing. Thank you.
Second.
All right, we had a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Mayor Cathy?
Yes.
Mr. Pollak?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Call?
Yes.
Mr. Keith?
Yes.
All right. Moving to resolution 2110 is a new Caterpillar. Who's here to speak? I mean, we've read it in our packet, but I don't think this has been discussed before this resolution. Maybe it has. Did I miss it?
Mayor, it was in your budget, so it was adopted in the budget. The staff put it out to bid. They only received one bid. I did ask them to go back out and solicit an additional bid. So they did solicit an additional number from another company. That other company's number was $10,000 higher than this one. This is a state contract through the, I think it's Bay County Sheriff's Office, is the low bid. The part of these funds are coming from insurance proceeds, and then the other part was allocated between water, city, streets, and it's about 5 different departments that are all pitching in to purchase this. Right now we have one backhoe, and when the street department's doing something, the canal can't use it. When the canal is using it, the street department can't use it. So I did ask staff if they could do with just one, and they said that they are handicapped with just one.
Okay, so there will not be a budget amendment?
No, sir, this is within our budget.
Okay, are we comfortable with it? We just got one price? Count?
Didn't pay you yet.
I mean, I know it's under state contract, I just you know.
And to get a better understanding of state contract, what happens with state contract is agencies like Orlando, Miami, Tampa, anybody that goes out there and bids on a backhoe, that price is good for anybody else in the state that wants to piggyback on that price. So right now, the lowest price that we've been able to find for the exact specifications, and that's the key word, is the exact specifications, is this $104,000 through the Bay County. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Sheriff's Department. It is. Oh, I'm sorry.
You are entitled to piggyback on purchase, that's what you're asking.
That's a good number for a cat. Cats. Yeah, high dollar equipment.
More than a year. Yeah, Mayor, I actually got a hold of 3 different companies, Kubota, John Deere, and Cat. Kubota didn't have a tractor that size, so kind of put them out of it. John Deere, like Mr. Mario said, was about $10,000 higher under the sheriff's contract, so the Cat was the cheapest one.
When can we get it?
He told me that we could have it delivered here in less than 2 weeks, once it's approved.
Wow.
They have one in Mobile. They had one in Panama City here, but they sold it about a week ago. But he said they had another one sitting in Mobile, and as soon as if it's approved, then we would he could have it here in about 2 weeks. And like Mr. Mario said, we had two backhoes before the storm. Actually, one of them they used one of them on the canal on a regular basis to push the sand and all, and that leaves the road department, sewer and water without a backhoe. And right now that canal is pretty important, so we've been shuffling between both, trying to.
I don't think the question of need is, for me anyway. I really understand. I just seeing how we've gone as long without it is rather remarkable, quite frankly. All right. So do we have a motion to adopt resolution 2010?
I'll make the motion we adopt resolution 21-10 for New Caterpillar.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Well, I forget. On resolution, you have to read it first. My bad. I'll get you straight one day. All right. Do I have a motion to read resolution 21-10 by title? Bill, why didn't you
Reed got his paperwork. I make
I
a
was
motion to
upset
read.
that she seconded it, and I wanted to second the cat.
You can do it this
All
time.
right, I'll take my second back, man.
Okay.
All right.
Make a motion that we read resolution 21-10 from the New Caterpillar.
By title
Oh,
Yeah.
only? By title only.
Ready?
she don't know what
She's doing a great job.
Oh, confusing me. Okay, resolution 21-10, a resolution of the City of Mexico Beach, Florida, approving a quote from Thompson Tractor for a new Caterpillar 420 backhoe loader with canopy 4x4 standard in the amount of $104,198.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Make a motion we approve.
I second. Thank you. That's a big thing for a.
Thank you, Sheriff. You helped us out there.
Yes, you did.
Would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Kathy?
Yes.
Mr. Pollitt?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Call?
Yes.
Mr. Key?
Yes.
And number 3 is a resolution 2111, which is to remove unused contingency. Do I have a motion to read resolution 2111-11 by title only?
I make a motion to read resolution 2111 by title only.
Second. One more time, please.
Resolution 21-11, a resolution of the City of Mexico Beach, Florida, approving a change order number 1 to the city's agreement with North Florida Construction, Inc. for the US 98 and Wysong Avenue water main repair project, resulting in a decrease in contract price in the amount of $44,531.50.
All right. Motion to approve.
Motion to approve resolution 21-11.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Again, call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy?
Yes.
Mr. Pollak?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Call?
Yes.
Mr. Key?
Yes. Thank you, thank you.
You did a good job.
Number 4 is me. I wanted to bring back to the council the lot combination discussion that we had months ago. And I did that because in the last few meetings, meaning the last at least 4, we have had a number of lot combination requests that have come before us. All of them have been extremely routine. All have been approved at zoning and council. And quite frankly, I think that we're just not doing our citizens and property owners to put them through the time delay that it takes to go through that process, to post the property, to send out certified letters, to charge them $400 and something when it is such a simple process to do. And I would like to see if there's any good rationale for changing that to where our administrator can simply can look at a plat and see that those are platted lots, or look at a survey from a meets and bounds and see that the descriptions are right, and we simply send the form to the county and it's done. Let me repeat that is for lot combinations. It has nothing to do with separation of properties or split properties. Those should require more scrutiny. They should require more evaluation and see that if that happens, what's on the property. This is for lot combinations only. We're charging our folks $460, sending out certified letters, doing all the things that we do. And I don't know of another city that does it that way, frankly. I haven't found one. So I would like to ask that if open, at least give Nick some direction, if we're comfortable that we can just do lot combinations, get rid of the bureaucracy of what our property owners go through, and simplify that process.
Is there, Nick, if you do that, we can still be notified, the council could be notified prior to that happening in case something sticks out to us that we may know of or whatever, that we could do something different?
You could, probably the best way to do that would be a process where the city administrator would have authority to approve any routine splits, or excuse me, routine combinations, and anything that was unusual would be brought to the council. And if you're monitoring the applications that come in and speaking with them, you could probably point out what is unusual.
You know, just now, that could be commercial property as well, correct?
It would depend on your decision. There are potentials for the same process on commercial property, yes.
Okay.
Well, y'all all know my biggest concern is splits more than combination. And I'm still concerned about we split the lots after they've been joined together. And I think we still should be involved with that.
That's different than what you.
I totally agree that the separations and splits, if we don't scrutinize that, then we potentially have a non-conforming lot. By when they combined it, they put something on it, and then they want to split it. We need to go out there and look at that and see. We need to see what's going on there. But that's not. This has zero to do with separations and splits. This is simple combinations. We've approved. Probably had a dozen in the last, and what's happening is pretty obvious. It's a storm. There's an opportunity for property owners to buy an adjacent lot. They want to expand the footprint of their house. They want to, I believe the guy wants to put a deck on, the guy wants to put a swimming pool, or it could just be for tax purposes. simple. But again, if they're platted lots, the administrator, I mean, it's a very simple process to look at a plat. The same with meets and bounds if they have a survey, which would be required. And I've had several people comment to me about the length of time to do it and the cost to do it. To come here and in 5 seconds, let's say, okay. Because it's just that simple.
This one before the P and Z as well, right?
It goes to P and Z, you post a sign on the property, you send out all the neighboring property owners certified letters, you go through a whole, I mean, it's just, it's cumbersome, or I think it is cumbersome and unnecessary.
My question would be, what would be an example of a time you wouldn't want to approve, let's say just a residential lot combination? Because I've struggled with that in the past. If we ever had one that was denied, I wasn't sure what the reasoning would be since they've generally all been approved. Can you think of that situation? If so, we could plan around that and try to make sure that comes to you.
The only thing that I'm kind of generally thinking about is something commercial.
Right.
Where joining 2 lots gives them the ability to put something in that they didn't have the ability to put in prior to that, which is not a major thing, but something that I would like to be able to look at, because commercial stuff, trying to keep our community the way it is and the way it has been, mom and pop stuff, that's my concern. That's the only reason I brought that up.
Okay.
So Mario, I guess could just promise that if it's something that's going to be commercial, he'll tell us about it.
Well, we could still have commercial approvals go through the process that we've used in the past.
Well, I agree with the mayor on his thoughts that, for little stuff that doesn't matter, but, putting a big old building up, we had a building on the beach that, they were going to put up a big, huge thing, and I guess if they could have gotten more property, maybe it would have worked. I don't know. Those are the things. I'm for keeping commercial stuff, keeping an eye on commercial stuff so that we don't have big stuff, unwanted stuff.
We can do it restricted on commercial. Anything that's commercial stays the same.
Yeah, well, how often do we have a commercial? We don't have commercials.
Everything on 98 is commercial.
Tourist commercial.
And a lot on 15.
Yeah. We do occasionally have commercial parcels that have residential structures on them that may want to combine. I think we can probably
And we've done those in the last couple meetings. Some of the ones that were on 98 that were 2 30-foot lots that became 1 60-foot lot was commercial, but it's being used as residential.
Okay.
To me, if it's commercial, there's no, I don't know how you're going to deny that. You can't tell them you can't build on it. You'd say you just couldn't combine it. You would deny the combination, and that would be difficult to do.
Okay.
Is my point.
I'm just trying to be careful. That's all.
I understand. I fully understand, but I don't see where that. I don't see where that would.
Well, I mean, Mario knows and should know, I'm sure knows, that what we're trying to do is keep it a mom and pop place, and
sure,
if anything comes up that's out of line, I'm sure he's going to bring us up to speed on it, and then maybe I don't know what we do then, but
Keeping in mind that the city does have a requirement to go past the planning board and the city council for change of use. So when a commercial use is coming in, if it wasn't commercial in the past and it's going to commercial, it still has to get approved by council.
That has to go through
that step would still go.
then that handles it for me. That's fine.
Another suggestion on the commercial combinations, one way to approach that would not affect the small lots being combined to build a house. You could have a combination of commercially zoned parcels that would result in more than an acre of property or more than 2 acres of property come to council, because that would that would address what you're thinking of, where you might go from having a small property to something that might be appropriate for a large business.
Like over 2 lots, but I see what he said.
What do you think? I don't know where you find those size lots around there, but they could exist somewhere out
Well,
there.
it may be a combination of 5 or 6 into one.
That would be.
Well, that would
That's
be
development order.
extraordinary. That would fall under, hey, this,
I'll flag that.
yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? That's not what we've had.
No.
We've had nothing like that. So,
We'll ask Gina about would be, what would be,
Well,
but she.
yeah, I mean, we talked, Gina and I talked about this, and she was in agreement that the combination of lots should be just a simple process, but I can't imagine, I don't know of anyone that's ever found, say, 4 lots or whatever that would want to combine. That's not that it couldn't happen.
Yeah, I could see some of where old townhouses used to be along 98. They might want to take all 4 of those lots and combine them to put a commercial business on. But again, you're less than an acre. I mean,
yeah.
Most of your commercial lots are so small that you would need to combine them in order to put a decent business with the required stormwater and parking and everything else. So it still seems like a pretty simple process.
Well, you know, because my intention is not to prevent commercial. I think we're short of commercial property, and I think Julie would probably even know that. She's real estate, so you know, we certainly could use some more commercial somewhere. But I think with it going through planning, zoning, building department, then we've got some way to flag something that way. That'll work for me.
If it goes over half an acre, I'll bring it up to you. How's that?
That's good.
Most lots are 1/4 of an acre.
Quarter of
If you combine more than 2 lots, I'll just bring it up.
More than 2 lots, there you
More than 2 lots.
go. More than 2 lots.
Yeah.
Yeah, just easy. Yeah.
Do you still want these to go through planning and zoning?
No, I agree with that. I think that's, we should cut that out.
We got 2 more weeds and 2 more signs.
Plus the unnecessary money when they know we're gonna, like the mayor said, we're just gonna be here 10 seconds and we're gonna say, okay.
All right, so the form that we worked on, I worked on, just as a simple form, I'm gonna pass that down. Y'all can, meaning you and Nick can look at that, and if that makes, it's just taking the form and I just changed it to say Mexico Beach instead of, pass that down. If y'all think that's something to work from, if not, so what's required, Mario or Nick, to enact this?
I would suggest we put a new paragraph in our land development code that describes this, because it's not addressed clearly right now. We'd be changing the historical way it's been done here for.
So is that an ordinance?
It is, but it wouldn't be a complicated one.
So is that something we could prepare for our next meeting?
Absolutely.
Are we good with that? Just see what he writes up and we'll look at it. Okay. Nick, you have any report?
I do not.
Okay, Mr. Administrator, you're up.
Mayor, the 428 process, as I mentioned, I think in the prior meetings, is coming to a close according to FEMA on April the 19th. All the other municipalities met 2 weeks ago and expressed our concern over that time frame. So as a group, we're issuing a letter to the state and to FEMA requesting an extension. They in turn have told us to request an extension for each individual project. We've already done that, but we're in that process because, again, some of these last projects that we have underway are quite complex. The police and fire station, we're volleying back and forth our responses. We just got our first response back on the city pier, so that process will take a couple volleys back and forth. Knowing that April timeframe is looming on us, we've gone ahead and asked for the extension. I believe we've requested it all the way up to October of 2021. So that letter has been submitted, and again, we've got an open dialogue with them. We'll have a meeting tomorrow with FEMA, and we'll basically bring that subject up again.
I saw that email. Is that's at 1 o'clock? Is it the same?
It's our normal.
Okay, it's the normal group, not the group
This is not a CRC meeting, this is our normal group, and it has the environmental people, which are one of the big ones that commented
On
on
the
this
canal?
issue. Well, not so much on the canal,
Oh,
but
on
on the
25.
police and fire station.
I got you. Okay. Is that all you have?
That is it.
I have one question for you, Nick, or Nick, because I think it got passed to Nick. The top of the Gulf Restaurant property where the seawall is leaning and has fallen or can fall some more. Have we found out who are the owners of that?
Mayor, that is still on me. We reached out to Thomasville, Georgia, to find the next of kin based on that obituary and a legal document. They claimed that they had sent it to us. We've now waited a full week, and I've not seen it. So I'm going to circle back with Thomasville to see if we can get a hold of those names of the individuals that have inherited that property. So it's on my plate.
Okay.
All right. Good note, the one there at Salt Creek, they have repaired that.
Yes, they have. I saw the pictures. Mario sent some pictures, or something. You maybe, I don't know, somebody sent it.
I sent some.
Yes, that's, okay, so we're still trying, we don't know the owners, or the inherited owners, so correct.
They may not.
They know the names. I know the
They
names.
still paying
You
taxes.
do?
Yeah,
They are still paying
You
taxes,
reaching out to
but it's
anybody?
going to the exact same address that it was prior to the death.
Oh,
So
God.
it's going to an LLC, so it's harder to.
Yeah, right.
and I got the names, and I know one of them from Thomasville, but I have no way of communicating that. Mario, he'll find out.
Okay. All right, I'm fearful we'll end up there with.
And the quicker, the sooner the better, but you know how it is dealing with the courts.
Any questions for the administrator? Yes, sir.
Any word back yet, Mario, on the boat ramp road before that becomes an issue within apartments? Because it is going to become an issue.
I will re-ask the question of Bridget.
Thank you.
They still haven't really started, have you found out?
They've submitted drawings. Their drawings are approved. They're waiting on closing with their bank loan. So they're probably another 2 months out is the last rumor that I heard on starting.
That's a good road.
And they are,
Comments? Oh, go ahead.
and they are gonna get that, hopefully that new main under there
Yes.
is
Yeah,
a priority.
That's their project. Fortunately, the way that we ran ours, we can run this way for a while, which was the safe way to go based on the fact that they're waiting on closing for their project.
Okay.
Bobby, anything?
Well, talking about the boat ramp, we got snapper season coming up. And any thoughts been done about how we're gonna regulate the parking again, people or layout designs for people to park? We had one the other day, and one Jewish people got blocked in. We need to really start thinking about what we can do about this.
Lieutenant Martin's not here.
I thought I was gonna put it on the agenda for a workshop. I'm meeting with the game warden, and me and Kathy have been talking about it. And I've talked with Mario and let's all be thinking about it, like Bobby just said. I may put on a workshop, but we don't have long.
Do we have access yet to the property on the east side of the road?
Yes,
Did
sir.
St. Joe give us this? I mean, I thought I saw some documents. That's just too long ago. I can't remember.
Yes, sir. That's been signed. We have access to the
Is
additional.
that Sandy and all?
It is Sandy.
I was just, I'm gonna put it on a workshop, and let's all talk about it, go look at it. I believe I know
Think we lay something out?
some. Well, I've talked to my compadres, and if we have to, we're gonna do it again, but I'm getting mighty old. We parking cars at 4 o'clock in the morning, but it did work last year. It did work. But I thought we put on
work though.
Well, I know, but I had the Sandy's men, the fire department, Kathy, Mary, you come, Bobby come. We all pitched in. We parked 100-something boats one day. Mario come one day, helped me park boats. So. But it's something I think we need to address because
Okay.
just put it on a workshop and just think about it. y'all come up with some ideas.
Well, I was thinking that what would be involved to get us extra parking.
That's
If
what
that
we
property is too, yeah, that's really what's the.
We got
it's
plenty
not-
of-
That's not something we can come up with just overnight.
By June the 1st. That's what we're up to. We got cleaned it up.
Well, I looked at that property, I mean, she's got to have to bathe, she'd have to put a, anyway.
It's got a ton of stumps on it too.
Yes, dump
And they're not little ones.
No, you're right.
I just think our body plan brought it up, but I was gonna do it, but I think that's what we need to have a workshop.
All right, well, we'll just sit tight and see what we come up with.
Yeah.
You have any other comments?
No, man, no, sir.
Sheriff? Good. Thank everyone for coming. Motion for adjournment. Yeah, that's good.